Did you buy another model? I can't believe you. You have way too many of those things. You need to sell some of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 20. And a zero. As always, I'm Jason Walker, and I am joined by the still breathing Scott Johansson. He's back.
You.
He's back.
Thank you. I never left.
Yeah, you never left.
I never left. Nope. I've never
Much
left.
to the
And I've been
chagrin-
reading everything. So
Much to the chagrin of the people that wanted your job on this show, you are still you're still here. How are
I'm
you?
still here.
How are things?
I'm good. I wish I could have filmed when I was in the recovery room and they gave me 2 Norcos because I was ripped. So
Man.
and for those that know me, I don't get stoned. I don't get drunk. So it was quite a treat for my wife and my stepdaughter who got the phone call. And I told her, I said, because you always call me fucked up, it's my turn. And while I'm laying in the recovery room. So, yeah.
Well, it is good to see you. It's good to have you here. I knew everything would go well, so I wasn't worried.
Yeah, it went great. Yeah, it went great.
How's your scar doing?
The scar is doing well. It's healing well. Itches a little bit. The staples, I've never hit staples before. So there's 30 staples and a 10-inch incision. And this was an easier operation than the smaller incision, take my kidney out. So this wasn't as bad pain-wise. I had anesthesia does a wonderful thing to me. And it traps gas. And so for about 24 hours, I had some severe ass gas pains. But but then once that started going, it was beautiful.
For everyone, I'm sure.
So I went home the next day, about 5 o'clock. So I was in the hospital a little over 24 hours, but not bad. And it was, it's been getting better, pretty steady. I had a walker for the first day and a half, and then you realize you're standing at the toilet and you're like, hey, where's my walker? You realize to walk there without it. So it's, still have it next to the bed to help me get in and out of the bed, to push off and straighten up. But probably another few days. Once the staples are out, I probably won't need that anymore either. But pretty good. I have a great story.
Okay.
So I get home and I got to pee.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't know how many of you out there have ever had a catheter inserted or whatever, but let's just say after 12 hours of abuse, the turtle sinks pretty deep into the shell. Okay. Now, I should have remembered this from my last encounter. So I go to the bathroom and I start to pee and I realize I'm not hearing water. And I look down and I am pissing all over everything. Okay. And I start swearing. My poor wife had just
like Willie the water bug, just
the water weasel, right. So my wife's outside the door and I start swearing, God damn it. And she's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? I go, I'm pissing all over everything. And so now you're trying to cut it off. And, you end up, I'm pissing all over my hand, trying to get, into the right place. So bless my lovely wife. She cleaned up after me. But I had to remember you got to give it a little bit of a primer start before you pee for a few days. But, so I water weaseled all over the bathroom toilet. It was kind of funny.
Did you hit the toothpaste?
No, the toothpaste was nowhere near my toilet. Okay. But,
all right. Well, on that note,
so
I want to first say thank you to everybody who emailed me while you were, awaiting. I hadn't heard from you. So I had gotten quite a few emails with people wondering how you were doing. Thanks. People actually care about you, which is, I was a little bit jealous. I'm not sure if I would.
No, they wanted to, they want this gravy job.
There was a couple of those too.
Yeah.
But, seriously, thank you for everybody who did send out some warm wishes and their thoughts. And it It meant a lot to both of us, actually. So we're there. Surgery's passed. It's behind us.
Surgery's passed. It was clear cell cancer, which is pretty typical for kidney cancer. It was not as aggressive as the cancer in the kidney they removed. He seems to think it will not return in this lifetime, so let's hope not. But we'll monitor
or in the
it.
next. Like, we don't want it to come back to anything.
So we'll monitor it for now and go from there.
Congrats, man. That's huge. And you handled it like far better than I would have. So, thanks. You're an inspiration.
And a shout out. No one's ever going to see this, but Loyola Hospital in Maywood. Everybody there was so professional and so courteous and everything. And I had a roommate that obviously was in a lot of pain and had surgery too, but I wanted to just holler over and say, dude, stop being, these people have a job to do, So
throttle them.
New appreciation to those nurses and healthcare workers that have to do everything they have to do, and especially the nice young lady that helped me out with my underwear once they took the catheter out. So
Poor girl.
Yeah. You might say poor girl.
Or, never mind.
She,
Or she got a wonderful show.
But I didn't pee all over the bathroom for her, so that's all right. So.
All right,
she took me to the bathroom and I said to her, well, now that I've gone to the bathroom, can I go home? And she says, well, I want you to walk a little bit first. I said, let's go. And we walked right down the hallway right from there. And, so.
Good.
Yep.
Well, cool. This is great news. It really is. Let's talk about models and crap. How about that?
Oh, let's.
So, where we're going first. And that
crap.
Is
well, you said models and crap, so I'm assuming we're going to crap.
So a big thing happened while you were on the couch, which was Godzilla versus Kong. You saw it, correct?
Oh, I saw it.
Okay, so did I. So, Scott, when I first watched that movie, as I sat there on the day it came out on HBO Max, I finished that movie and I go, holy shit, Scott is going to hate this movie. Was my prediction correct?
I don't think hate's the right word. Okay. All right. This has surpassed the Dino De Laurentiis Kong movie, King Kong Lives, as possibly the worst King Kong movie of all time. Okay.
Okay, so stop right there. And we're going to try and keep this shortish. Do you see it? Did you see this as more of a King Kong movie or a Godzilla movie or a both movie?
I guess I saw it as a both movie. Okay.
To me, it felt like a Kong movie, and Godzilla was an afterthought. That's
a little bit. I can see where you thought that. Okay. What I did feel like I was watching kind of a sci-fi movie too, like with the whole. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, skip ahead about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So the whole Hollow Earth and the axe thing I thought was just so dumb. It seemed like his size changed throughout the movie. So like when they're fighting in Hong Kong, they're both like 50 stories tall. Okay. Well, now, I've never seen an actual aircraft carrier, but I'm thinking...
I have been on one. I have.
Okay, I'm thinking you couldn't put a 50-story skyscraper on one and have it like be the size that they had Kong. So, I had a problem with that. The little girl, she was cute as hell, but when we realized Kong is signing and all, I mean, it just got dumber and dumber and dumber. And then, of course, the stereotypical... overweight, wearing glasses, nerd kid who gets drug along on the adventure that made no sense. It was like, let's put the Scooby-Doo gang in on top of everything else, and I'd have got away with Mechagodzilla if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
I thought was the weakest part too. I did not like any of that side story with those three.
Yeah.
Why? And the other thing, and I think it's a
and
Marvel.
they put them in that pod that goes from what New Orleans to
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
Yeah. The
Okay.
railgun pod. But I think that's my general problem
Well,
with movies.
First of all, to go that fast, the suit you would need to
No.
compensate for the G-force. Come on.
No, they fixed it in science.
I'm sure they did.
That's my problem, I think, with movies in general these days, is Marvel movies have ruined everything, and I'm going to get a ton of hate for this. And it's the stupid jokes. Do a little fight, do a stupid joke, let's laugh a little bit, but then let's try and get serious. But then there's really no consequences for anybody ever. And it's that formula that I just don't. Why can't you just have a regular serious movie? And I don't like comedy in a non-comedy movie a lot of times. And if you look at Shin Godzilla, that movie's amazing. It's the people were taken seriously. The monster is scary. Godzilla is scary in that movie as a force in it. And and I didn't hate this movie as much as you did, but
I just, like the whole, let's take the Ghidra head and tap into that. I still don't know what was going on there.
So
I haven't liked enough of these movies to understand the whole monarch thing and all that, but it's just.
And I love Skull Island. I love that movie. You were lukewarm on it. I know.
I didn't hate it.
But I liked it. They could have done the Mecha King Ghidorah. Maybe they'll make that in the future like that. But dude, I don't even know. I'm dumbfounded. Like, it just, there's so many missed opportunities.
And then we're going to, jumpstart King Kong when he dies or was almost dead.
My thing is was that a throwback to the heart attack thing from the De Laurentiis one? Where they have his heart dying? That was the sequel where he had to have the heart replacement, right?
Now, I don't know, any of our viewers, please tell me, but how many of us could get shocked back to life and then go into full battle within 3 minutes? Okay.
Kong could.
No.
I know people are going to hate us. I know it because there's so much love for this out there. And I just,
well, for those of you that love it, see, and here's the thing.
I just want a smart movie for once. Is
There's
that so much
that
to ask?
Like it because it's a giant monster movie. And I get that.
Me too.
Aspect of it. Okay. But I've been CGI'd to death. Okay. And I told my wife when we got done, I'd rather watch the original King Kong versus Godzilla in the rubber suits than this thing ever again. Okay.
And that's the thing. I think that's part of it too, is it doesn't have charm. There's no charm.
No, there's no charm in any of these newer Godzilla movies. At one point,
Godzilla laughs in the movie. If you don't believe me, go look at that on YouTube. Godzilla laughs. And it's like, and he's done that in the other ones. Fine. But I don't know. My favorite little throwback in there, Easter egg, when he's in the Hollow Earth and there's those things flying around with the parrot beaks and the lizard. Did you see At the Earth's Core?
No.
That is a total throwback to At the Earth's Core. There's these bird monsters that they sacrifice all the humans to, and it looks just like an updated version of those. And I thought that was pretty cool. The Maynox or Maylon.
But, and as dumb as Mecha Godzilla was in the original series of movies, okay, he resembled Godzilla. Okay?
Yeah,
this thing doesn't. I don't.
And that's the thing. It might, but it never stood still enough to where you could see the silhouette and go, okay, that's Godzilla. Like, there was parts of Mecha Godzilla.
Shot that you sent here. Okay. Yeah. What's that old puppet show, Kukla, Fran, and Ollie? I think this looks like Kukla, a robot, Mecha Kukla. Okay. Or Mecha Ollie. I forgot which one was which. Okay.
Comment below. Please let us know why you liked.
Tell me how crazy I am.
How crazy.
I get it. It's a monster movie, but it's not really. It's almost a sci-fi movie. And okay, here's one other.
Which monster movies are? To be fair, monster movies usually are sci-fi movies. That doesn't bother me so much. What bothers me is the
nitpick just a little more. Okay. Throw two giant monsters in the middle of any big city and have them start fighting and knocking buildings down, and tell me there would still be lights on anywhere. Okay. Yeah,
I think that's my problem. You do not see
neon and
you don't see the danger part of it, which is, and I know you're going to say no, but did you see the new Gamera movies when they were made in the 90s?
No.
Newer?
No.
There were parts in that where people are, I'm trying not to swear, wiped clean. Like there's fire that goes down the street and you see people just get vaporized. People, which you normally don't see. Because I want to see like, when Godzilla walks down the street, people should just fall over from radiation poisoning, right? That's what should happen.
Maybe not that quick, but they conveniently, this is what cracked me up, they conveniently evacuated the city.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, I'm going to say, given the vastness of an ocean, just how fast can Godzilla really swim?
That tail goes really quick.
Yeah. No.
So
there's nothing.
We're the haters. I know we're going to be called the haters, and
I don't care. This was the biggest piece of Kong shit I have ever seen in my life. Peter Jackson has no longer made the worst King Kong movie of all time.
So, okay, can we start? I have a problem with the Kong design. Can you guess what it is?
What?
I said, can you guess? Where does my mind usually go?
I don't know. What's your problem with
it?
Kong
Needs a
design?
penis. I don't like that you can't. And it's the same with like, I don't like when people sculpt a model kit just not to offend somebody. It's a giant gorilla. There should be at least some sort of dink hanging there, flipping around, and you're gonna see that. That was I loved Harry and the Hendersons, but the dude's walking around naked. You would see it like
maybe he's got a small penis.
Maybe.
Have you ever seen a cat's penis? Have you ever seen a cat's penis?
You see its balls.
Have you ever seen a cat's penis?
You see the balls.
No, I had a vet tell me one time that a cat has a penis that belongs on a mouse. So maybe he's got a little mousy penis.
That's fine, but you would see the nuts. You ever seen a chimp's nuts? They're like...
see, when I go to the zoo, I'm not looking at the fucking reproductive
Sometimes
organs.
you can't avoid that. You can't, even...
I get seeing the big pink on the baboon's ass, but I don't know about monkey nuts.
I want to see... I don't know.
Well, I hope Spike has a ball with you and monkey nuts right now. I really do. Can't wait to see that photo.
I'm not opening my mouth today.
Monkey nuts.
So that's comment below. Please let us know what you thought about Kong Godzilla. It was okay. I think it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful. You think it was awful? That's fine. Okay.
Yeah,
but there's a plus. I think there's some cool modeling opportunities in there that you could do with cool lighting effects and all that. There's some cool stuff that will come out of it. Mike Wallace will make a cool Godzilla diorama.
Here's my problem with this. And I've always had this problem in this hobby. Okay. No matter how cool the model is, if it's a movie that I thought was terrible, I wouldn't buy that fucking model. Okay.
But see, I'm the opposite. Sometimes it's a terrible movie, but a great character design and a great monster. Like Rawhead Rex is a terrible goddamn movie, and people still love that thing. And it's not even, you haven't seen it. I got to get someone out here once in a while that's seen the movies that I see.
Whatever. Every time I try to watch one of these piece of shit movies, this is what happens to me.
I'm going to get a puppet and name it my friend. Start it over here.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. All right.
Been friends with that puppet for too long.
Both. I'm ambidextrous. So anyway, did you see anything else good? Nothing?
No, but I'll tell you what I'm going to see. And you're going to go, oh, cool. Now, it's a movie I've seen, and it's been in my cart for a long time, but I finally broke free with the money.
Nice. So
this is that Blu-ray.
The War of the Worlds.
And so we're going to check that out.
Cool.
I have it on regular, but this is that version you said that was...
it looks really good.
Really good Blu-ray. So we're going to check that out.
Cool. I had Jamie watch, and I think she wanted me to. I don't know if she did. I'll find out. I had her watch Train to Busan, which is the best zombie movie, and it perfectly demonstrates why I think I don't like Kong versus Godzilla, because the people are so dumb. In this movie, the people are written really well to the point where you actually give a shit about them. And to the point where Jamie was crying at the end of the movie. And it's a zombie movie. It's a stupid zombie movie from Korea. And it's the best. If you have not seen Train to Busan, please watch that. Okay. You ready? We're done making people angry.
Yeah.
All right. News and reviews. Here we are. Ta-da! The first thing I found that I thought was pretty cool, and I thought of you instantly because it's a cartoon kit, is the Mighty Mitor from Saturn Models and sculpted by Joe Ludotti. And I had not seen it yet until I was just looking for stuff for the show, and I was like, hey, it's a pretty cool kit. I want to give it a shout out. Well sculpted, looks just like that character. So, any thoughts, Scott?
I did not watch the Mighty Mitor.
That's what I wanted to know. Is this one of your shows?
But no, but I mean, it's cool that he did it. And the sculpt looks good, compared to the, actual character. So it's still a cartoon, getting a shout out. So that's cool. I hope it does well for Saturn, is it?
Yep, Saturn. And they're
Vince over at Saturn.
The second thing Saturn's got coming out that I found is this mysterious island with the giant crab attack. Sculpted by who, Scott?
Joe Simon.
And that's a good looking crab.
Well, it's a nice looking little compact diorama.
Yeah.
I have seen this movie.
Me too.
And I'll tell you about this movie. I actually own this movie too. The first time I saw this movie, WGN Family Classics, for those Chicago folks, used to show it.
We say this a lot. We have to show a picture of it. I'm going to find a.
And I didn't know what this movie was even about. It was just one of those, it's on Saturday afternoon, and I started watching it. I had no idea it was a Harryhausen film. I had no idea it was a sequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. None of that. So I remember really liking the movie. And this is an iconic scene from the movie where they actually kill the crab and they finally eat it. And, they were... Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a really... it's a cool movie. And so it's a nice...
That is a really nice, well done just diorama piece.
Yep. It looks pretty compact, too.
It does. The other thing I found over on the Clubhouse, I did a Clubhouse venture this week. This is Anton Chigurh. Scott, you're gonna make me really sad right now.
Nope.
You didn't see No Country. You did not see No Country for Old Men.
Nope.
So this is the bad guy from the movie, played by Javier Bardem, and one of the best bad guys ever in film. And this is the kind of stuff that I want to see more in kit form. Is your kind of modern day bad guys, where this Bill the Butcher, which I've seen, there's a couple out of him from Gangs of New York, but Javier Bardem plays the most sinister Anton Chigurh, and I love that likeness. It looks like spot on. So I have it written down. And if you want to pick this kit up over on the Clubhouse, send PLJNR. That's his username. It's Paul. Send him a PM over on the Clubhouse. It looks like it's 50 pounds or $62, not including shipping, from England. And I love this. Please do more of this sort of thing, people. I love modern kind of stuff like that. I have a funny story that if this person was still alive could send them to jail. But my friend who had passed away, I'm not going to say his name just in case, because it's pretty bad. In the movie, Anton Chigurh walks around with a cow, like the thing they use to kill cattle, which is the air tank with the little blaster air piston thing. And so for Halloween one year, he dressed up as him, and he walked around all downtown Chicago carrying a giant air tank with a hose on it, with a nozzle on the end just to spray people in the forehead without the piston. So, and this is not long after 9/11. This is still, you shouldn't be doing this. And he's in a cab with his then fiance or wife, and it's Halloween night, and traffic is at a dead standstill at Clybourne and North Avenue. And he starts arguing with the cab driver. He's wearing a wig to look like this dude, has a giant air tank with him. And he starts arguing with the cab driver. And he leans up front and sprays the cab driver in the head and goes, pfft, and goes, "That's chemicals. You're going to fucking die." And gets out of the car and runs away. As he's running away, he sees the cab driver get out and start screaming and patting himself around, running in traffic, screaming, call the police, call the police, call the police, as my friend and his fiance are running down the street because they basically just gas attacked this cab driver. And shortly after, they had to jump in another cab because someone did call the police, and the police were rolling around. He's not with us anymore, so you can't arrest him. Anyway, that's my Anton Chigurh story. And it's still a greatest friend. Anyway. What did you see, Scott?
Well, from our friend Mike Calvert at Typhon Studios.
This thing's gorgeous.
We have yet another Jaeger Boris Karloff sculpt.
You say that in a bad way.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm kidding. Much like the Black Cat, that's the first Jaeger Club exclusive. This piece, you can tell, I can tell anyway, and not to take anything away from anything. But when I see a piece like this, I look at something like this and said, man, Jeff was really inspired when he sculpted this.
Yeah.
This is Ardith Bay from the flashback scene in the original Mummy. And this is the first Typhon kit that I got on the list for, and I've got a early number. So as soon as it gets molded and cast, I'll probably be having one coming my way, which I'll definitely review here. But just beautiful. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Black Cat piece, and just the detail in the face. It's just, and this is also, now I've been in the hobby a long time, and I can't say for sure, but I don't think this version of Ardith Bay has ever been sculpted. And again,
I don't
this
remember
is from the
seeing
flashback scene. Yeah. So I think this was a fantastic idea. And there's a little, what I think is a piece of the base there too. And just looks really cool.
Yeah,
so
it's gorgeous.
That's coming from Typhon. And also from Typhon, let's see what you know. Millicent Patrick, creature from the Black Lagoon. What do you know about Millicent Patrick? Do you even know who it is?
Is she the one that created it?
She designed it. Yeah, I believe she designed the creature from the Black Lagoon. And here's a photo
Look at
of
you
her.
tried to stump me. Got you.
And I don't know much about her. I do know who she is and stuff. But I think they're going to do some sort of tribute bust to her with the creature. And I think that's really cool.
That is a very good idea.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Jack Pierce gets so much credit for so much that he did, as he should. But here is a designer. I want to say she designed.
They didn't even give her credit in the movie, right?
No, I don't even think she got credit in the movie. So, that'll be an interesting piece from them coming. And then a couple pictures of, this is the new King Kong replacement head, sculpted by Jeff Jaeger again. And this will go on to the Aurora King Kong. And you can get these. I think they're $27 from Mr. Worthling, Mark Worthling. Take a drink,
I gotta
Mark.
type his info in again.
Yeah, you should. He just have one of your special buttons. No,
you know what? I'm gonna make one for next
so,
time.
But there we are. So I imagine by the time this comes out, he's going to be selling these or really close to selling them. So
yeah.
I have to get one. Matter of fact, I'll have to PM him tomorrow, see if he's ready. So
that's basically what we've seen, yeah.
That's what I've seen. Now today I got something in the mail, so I'll share. I think Doll and Hobby, which is part of Cult TV Man, I think, they're re-releasing the Spindrift from Land of the Giants. So I got this nice promo.
Did you know that's on TV right now?
Yeah, I think it's on MeTV.
Yeah, it's on, yeah.
So
or Antenna TV. One of the two.
This is going to be $37.95 suggested retail price, 1/64 scale. 38 detailed styrene parts, so interior with passenger cabin, cockpit. I'm reading all this off this thing that I got. But this came today in an order that I got from my good friend Steve Iverson, Cult TV Man. And along with that came the second. And this is the Compact Pussycat.
Okay.
And just as and I won't go into too much detail here, but just as with the Mean Machine, it's molded in this cool chrome strip it so you can paint the car the right way. Purple plastic. Again, instructions. Stick on and slide on decals, which I really wish Atlantis would get on board with and do with
Yeah.
Their stuff. And then there's also like the Mean Machine, there's a little painting guide on where the decals go on the box.
Cool.
So I got that today. There's 2 more coming. There's a Creepy Coupe and the Peter Perfect Turbo Terrific.
Is the Creepy Coupe the one with like the haunted house on wheels?
Yes. Somebody I know very well may be making an add-on for that particular kit.
Okay.
And producing it. So I'll let you know.
Cool.
But he's on the podcast. I can tell you that. So,
oh, this podcast?
Right now.
Is there someone behind me? Oh, you. Okay.
So we'll see. I've already talked to a sculptor and I've got something in mind and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Get back in the take the reins again. Get on there.
Yeah, well, I got a bunch of other stuff I still need to get going. So
yeah. How about that big Gillman thing? Galuna?
Yeah.
Yeah. That okay. So that's it. It's been
So we have a couple giveaways. Our friends at the Jaeger Army have donated to us 3 membership cards. Okay. So the membership card to the Jaeger Army is generally $15. And what this entitles you to is to when they have exclusives and stuff, or maybe I don't know what if they're going to have sales on things or whatever, but it entitles you to be able to get on the list to get these things. The Black Cat that I have coming on. Matter of fact, I got my tracking number today, so I'll be able to show that next episode. That was one of their exclusives. Now, with this card, you do not need to be on the Facebook group to, you just need to contact one of the guys, Troy, Mark Worthling, Mike Calvert, Paul Gill, when they do come out with an exclusive and say, hey, I want in. And the way this will work is we will assign, well, they've been assigned numbers already, so we will fill in your name and
your back will look like this.
And yeah, so that you'll get a card, Jaeger Army membership card.
Yeah.
So we have 3 of these to give away. And what we're going to do is we're going to start taking names and we're going to give one away next episode.
The next 3.
And we're going to give one away the episode after that and one away the episode after that. Now, that'll give plenty of people plenty of time to register to get one. Okay. That being said, once you register, you're in for all the drawings. Okay. So, you won't have to register a second time to be in for the second one or the third one. Once you're in, you're in. So send an email to modelclubtv@gmail.com. And,
oh no.
oh, your button didn't work.
No, it's not. It didn't work because there's one little thing. Okay.
Send an email to modelclubtv@gmail.com. Subject title, Jaeger Army, Jaeger card, whatever. And Jason will give you a number and put you in for a drawing.
Yep.
And like we said, we're going to have one the next 3 episodes. So if you don't get it, if you miss this one, get in the next one, or make sure you send it to us. Only 1 entry per person, but so we've got that. And I think we have another giveaway as well. Yes,
we do. This giveaway came as very much a surprise to me. It is from Bill Monster Jones. Gave us a Monster Jones prize pack to give away. So first you get a sticker. Then
show us the sticker. Can we see the sticker? Would it kill you to show us the sticker?
I thought I showed you. Oh, no, you can't see it. They're seeing it right now.
Oh, okay.
So there's the sticker. You can see it there.
Right.
But here's the sticker. You're getting take my word for it. I'll take it apart. This is a Invasion of the Saucermen
reproduction
print. Very cool. I'll put this back up here so I don't crinkle it.
Yeah, put your coffee on it.
And then you get a model kit, which is Burger King from Jimmy Flintstone that you saw. I think it was in one of his pictures we put, but I'll put it up again. There is the Burger King. You get that. You get, now, for those of you big Monster Jones fans, if you want to, you know how like the porn stars sell their panties online? Or is that just me that knows that? If you want to get a good whiff of Monster Jones, he included 2 t-shirts. First one is Wonderfest Model and Toy Show from April 96. So this is what you get. You get this shirt. It is size extra large. This is more of a collector's item than anything, so check it out. You get that shirt, and you get a monsterjones.com shirt as well.
Also extra large?
Also extra large. And then, hi, Jason and Scott. Here's a Monster Jones gift bag to give away at Model Club TV. Or keep it if you like, as you will. Thanks for keeping me entertained. Your Resin Head brother, Monster Jones. We are giving it away. So this is pretty awesome of him. Again, you get 2 t-shirts, an amazing Wonderfest t-shirt, a model kit, a sticker, and a print. Thank you, Bill Jones, for doing this for us.
Sending this only domestically as well?
Yeah, this is a United States, North America thing only. United States. Canada as well. Mexico, I guess. North America. That's a lot in one box. So thank you, Monster Jones. If you want that, send an email to Model Club TV with Monster Jones in the subject, and you will enter you into that drawing as well. So those are our giveaways. Yeah. We got the Jaeger Army cards, and we got the Monster Jones gift pack. So take your pick. And you can do both. If you
want to enter both, 2 separate emails.
2 separate emails, please. That'll make it easy for me. And as Scott knows, things aren't easy for me. So, all right, that's our giveaway.
Giveaways.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the workbench. There isn't one this week.
We are? Okay.
Yeah, we're skipping it this week because
that was quick. Because I've got
Scott was
a scar.
Scott has a scar, and here's what happened to me. So all of my workbench time went to refinishing my bar. I had an incident with ants, stupidity, and an octopus tentacle. I went to, it was Is this the same thing you dropped like a week ago or something? No, it's a different thing. So Tuesday night rolls around. Tuesday nights is my Oak Island evening, and I usually make a nice Manhattan or Old Fashioned to watch my Oak Island show.
What are you, 80?
Yeah, actually. And I have a very nice bar that I built, and above the bars where I keep my dead animals on a windowsill with
his dad built.
No, both of us built. And up there is my dead animal jars filled with 97% alcohol to keep them from rotting. Below that are my liquor bottles and my jar of cherries that are supposed to stay out of the fridge. So I go to open the cherries, and there's an ant inside the jar of cherries. And I'm like, well, what's that about?
He wanted an old fashioned.
I open the cherries. There's tons of ants. I say, okay, where did these ants come from? So I start looking, and I see one crawling up the wall, up towards the window. And in my basement here in Illinois, this one, the basement windows are even with the ground. Okay. So I had put up these temporary blinds because the glare on the TV, there was a temporary black blind up there. And I look, and I'm like, I move it to the side, and I go, how did all this dirt get blown into my window? And it was like the scene out of Aliens, which you probably haven't seen, where the wall starts to move and it's filled with aliens. So this pile of what I thought was dirt was ants. And it was millions of ants had built a nest into the temporary blind paper thing with larvae and millions of ants. So I go, ugh, like this. And one of the jars with the octopus tentacles falls and shatters all over my liquor bottles. 97% alcohol goes all over the bar. It's a bar. So you would think alcohol wouldn't be a problem. Problem is, and anyone using this stuff, don't use it. So when I finished the bar, I used the water-based polyurethane put out by, I think, Verifane or Minwax, one of the two. It was a water-based coating. And I remember when I got it, I'm like, man, this stuff smells just like just the acrylic matte like finish. Like it wasn't anything fancy. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. But I was already halfway through finishing the bar. I'm like, all right, I'm going to finish it anyway. So since I did that, model glue messed up that finish, but I was able to sand it out and fix that little spot. Another time I spilled the gun cleaner when I was cleaning a gun and it messed up the finish on the bar and I was able to sand that out. But this time in the panic, I took the alcohol bottles and set them all over parts of the bar because there was ants, octopus tentacle alcohol juice everywhere, and it messed up the bar everywhere. So instead of working on models this week, I've been sanding and refinishing. I have two parts of the bar. There's a back shelf and a bar. I've had to refinish all of that. So that's what I did. That was my workbench. Yes.
And what do we do about the ants?
So the ants, I had to carefully peel down that paper, and without them going everywhere, I like just went and then threw it in a bag. I had Jamie come down and hold it open. And there's glass and octopus everywhere. And then I put that in with the dead shark, the baby shark. I put that in that bottle. So,
well, good. The baby shark's not lonely anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the workbench. Sorry, buddy. We don't have anything.
So what'd you do to prevent the ants from happening again?
I put traps inside the window and granules outside and sprayed. Because I think what happened is I sprayed the home defense outside and it forced them in. Guess what it's time for? The ever popular segment On the Road with Jason, because Scott don't go nowhere.
Yeah, Scott went to the hospital.
So I ended up in Three Oaks, Michigan, which is by another house we have. And there is a place there called Collector Zone.
Collector Zone.
Marcos, I can't even attempt to say his last name, but Marcos is a really nice guy. So what this place is, it's not a hobby store. It is a just straight pre-paint store. And they are a licensed distributor for a couple of the companies. And really nice guy. If you get a chance, go in there. I'm going to put some pictures while I'm talking. They had NECA figures, Funko Pops everywhere, but then a lot of the sideshow, Prime One. What's the other really big one? Not Prime.
XM?
Yeah, some of that stuff. It just tons and tons of pre-paint stuff. And he said he's one of there's only like 4 companies in the States that are licensed distributors for some of this stuff. And he said, if you have it shipped to him and you could pick it up, you don't have to pay shipping. And it's just like, it was a really cool store. Really nice guy. They have a Facebook group. If you haven't been there, you can check him out there on Facebook. So Collector Zone, great place, great little store in Three Oaks, Michigan, right across the street from
2 Oaks, Michigan?
Right across the street from Journeyman Distillery, if you feel like getting some whiskey. So
yeah,
that's why
get
we
your
were
whiskey on, then go stumbling in the Collector Zone. Yeah.
Well, there were these old ladies in there that came in there to look for something for their grandson, and she's walking around with her purse, and her purse strap catches on something. And I quick grab, I'm like, no, hold on. And she almost pulled the whole statue down. So Marcos is a great guy. Please check him out. Collector Zone. You can order directly through them for some of this stuff. And I think he does pretty good on pricing. So if you're looking for something, hit him up. Collector Zone. Our guest this week is Rob Mattison, one of the true great guys in this hobby. And he came on with us way back almost a year ago now for the Wonderfest show when we kind of started this and where this came from, and did a lot of the interview with him then. That's kind of a background. We touch on some of that now, but we wanted to hit with him, like especially about doing videos for his monster model review. He also does 2 other shows, and there'll be links to all that below. And talk about 3D modeling and 3D printing and some of the other stuff he's got going on. So it's a really good interview. Once again, Rob's truly great guy, and we'll see you afterwards. Talk about it a little bit. Enjoy. All right, and we're back with our guest, Rob Mattison. Rob, how are you tonight?
I'm awesome. How are you two doing?
Oh, wonderful.
It's the best day ever, Rob.
So you are a returning guest, sort of. We had you on for Wonderfest, but this is your first official Model Club TV appearance, and thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thank you.
How's life?
Life's good. During the virus, I've had a very, very productive hobby and craft year. I've done more kits in 1 year probably than I've ever done.
Wow. Wish I could say that. I can't. But the things you've been doing look amazing.
Hey, thanks. I think, the one thing is I'm 58 and I think I'm doing my best work right now.
I would agree. Although
Yeah.
I don't take that as I'm not trying to disparage.
No, it's true. It's
But
very
some of
true.
that stuff is just, it's exactly what I wanted for Model Club when we were doing the contest. That stuff would fit right in. So we're going to share some of that later on in a little gallery thing. But thank you. Like that stuff is just, it's really inspiring for people to see, I think, that stuff you're
You
doing
bet.
with the things.
I've also been doing a lot of videos again. I got back on that horse, and I think you guys were kind of inspiration for that. And,
Scott, we inspired someone.
Yeah, you
Jesus.
inspire. But I was, I love doing monster model review. I've been doing it since, we used to be called Model Citizen back in the 90s. And then in 2007, Model Citizen was already taken on the internet. And so we changed our name to Monster Model Review because I'm truly not very inventive. And I'm kind of autistic in that I'm just going to tell you what the name of the show is going to be. So it's Monster Model Review, and that's what you get.
Gotcha.
I'll never forget the episode where who was building the wrestler, the snap together wrestler kit,
Oh, that was one of the kids. I think it was Shane. Chris,
and it just couldn't get it together.
I know.
Like bashing it together. It's
I think
supposed
Chris
to be
went
snapped
really
together.
into it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, and honestly, I can't say anything without saying Chris Gerke's name. He hasn't been around for a while. He's got some kids he's raising and a family and work and all that stuff. So it's been a number of years since Chris and I got to play together. But honestly, without him in the beginning of Model Citizen and Monster Model Review, I wouldn't have never gone as far as I did to begin with. So I miss him, and I'm hoping that he's going to get back involved, and I'm sure he will. Time frees up as your kids get older. So
So let's start there. What year was the first Monster Model Review?
95.
95. Okay.
And it was a car.
Oh, go ahead.
It was a Plymouth Prowler. It was a car.
Okay.
And I refused to be on the show, so I was Mr. Hands. This guy.
Mr.
I refused. I didn't want to be on the show.
Oh
then-
no, you got glue on the windshield.
I made Chris do it live a couple times, and then I said, "Okay, I made Chris do it. Now I have to do it."
From that point, going back before that, what's your, do the quick Rob history in the hobby? Where'd you meet? How'd you meet Scott, number one? And number two, where'd you get started? Because I don't think people saw that, as many people
Sure.
as saw that original episode.
Sure. My mom bought me Dracula, glow in the dark, probably 70, 69, something like that. Square box. So whenever the square box came out, probably early 70s. But that's the kit that really got me going. I used to get mono. I was a sick kid. I had a lot of allergies and stuff. So I just wanted to stay home and watch Captain Kangaroo.
Yes, the ping
Right.
pong balls.
Right. And so I'd stay home and she got me models because she knew I dug it, and they would buy me, I'd find a book that would really show what I love, like the big monster book by Gifford, I think Dennis Gifford. But I always was this little monster kid. And then after I got all the Auroras, luckily, except in our area, we never got a Salem Witch, and I never saw the Bride of Frankenstein.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fall Creek, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Big town of 825. And then we moved out into the country 2 miles out. So I would ride my horse in to the it was more of a hardware store. And he'd get one kit for me. So I'd get my glow in the dark Godzilla, and plop on back home and work on my glow in the dark Godzilla. And
Do you think there's anyone else that rode a horse to get model kits?
I like to believe there's a lot of us. It was a generation ago, it was totally different time. But Fall Creek is in a pretty rural area. I'm in Eau Claire, which is only 9 miles away from where I was born. So I've literally only lived in an 18-mile kind of circle.
Gotcha.
Where I was.
Captain Kangaroo, that just totally brought back a memory. My biggest Captain Kangaroo memory is living in my first house in Lansing, Illinois, when I was probably 3 or 4. The movers coming to unplug the TV when we were moving out of the house, and I was watching Captain Kangaroo, and they just unceremoniously unplugged that TV, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
That's traumatic.
And they're like, "Yoink!" And there went the TV out the door. Oh man!
I like
Captain
watching
Kangaroo.
a black and white show with a guy named Mr. Green Jeans.
Oh man, it was in color when I was watching it though.
It became color too,
Yeah.
but we didn't have a color TV
No,
until
yeah, I never even thought about that. Holy cow,
Right?
Mr. Green Jeans, but black and white.
right. But so I did. I started as a little guy, and then and luckily I've never been, I never thought anybody would be embarrassed by it. So when I was in Cub Scouts, I had my Aurora monsters out on the table for the Cub Scout show, and I never kind of lost it until I started dating. But models were kind of hard to find in that time too, in that late 70s, early 80s. Nabisco had bought an Aurora. The monster scenes thing kind of stopped everything cold at that point. So I didn't find a real model until I found a inbox Comic Scenes Hulk, which is right up there at a what is it, Kids Palace, the one with the panda bear. Like a Toys R Us, but it was Kids Palace.
Child World.
What is it?
Child World?
That could be it. Or
Yeah,
Children's
it was
Palace
Child World
or something.
with the panda. Yep.
But I found a Comic Scenes Hulk, and this was late 80s, back when Horizon and Screamin' started going. And before I get ahead of myself, when I was 19, I started working at a comic book store. So I had my hands in everything. If there were models to be found, I was finding them. And that's where I met everybody. Getting into the comic book shop when I was pretty young put me into a geek world, right? So when Kurt Krause, who's a friend who connected Scott and I, came into town, stopped at the comic shop, I had a big Horizon display and stuff like that. That's kind of the connection of me and all of you, actually. So I think that's pretty cool. And Kurt was from Fountain City, which is over on the river between Wisconsin and Minnesota. And he was how did you know him, Scott?
So I met Kurt. I think the first or second Brueggemann magazine, when it was just Figure Model Collector or whatever. And they had classifieds. And he had a classified in there. He needed a Hunchback nameplate. And I had one. So I just put an envelope and sent it to him. So he sent me a postcard back and, thanked me. And so, we kind of had some communication that way. And then I had another friend who he somehow hooked up with out here that was into music. And Kurt and his band had come down here to record. And Kurt always tried to coordinate everything so he could go to this Kane County toy show down here. And so that's where the first time I met him in person was at that. And he showed us the Jaeger Curse of the Werewolf that he had, which was, so heads and tails above anything that Aurora ever did at that time. And then he also had pieces for the Godzilla's go-kart that he has, original. And I was like, and at that point I was just strictly Aurora, so I was like really geeked out by that. And then he was casting Monsters kits at the time. So then when I decided to start casting the King Kong Thronester, I got a hold of Kurt to, get information and casting and stuff. And so it just evolved into a friendship over that period of time. And then I went with him to my first Wonderfest in 95. And from that point on is when him and I became pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think he moved in 97. And that's right around when I met you because he was getting ready to move. And you came down there to see him, and I was there.
Right.
And you and I started talking, and it was like, yeah, go away, Kurt. The men are talking. So it was.
And like rainbows appeared and birds flew.
Right. Well, and then Scott introduced me to the Chicago Resin Heads show. So going to Chicago was mind blowing because I'd gone to comic conventions, little ones, but nothing like that before. And it was just, it was crazy because it was all model kits.
I'm trying to think of it. How do you describe the Resin Heads show to people who may have no idea what went on there? Like it's
every year can be described differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
the Harryhausen year was fantastic.
Yeah.
They still had some cheesy cake stuff going on, but for the most part, it was Ray and Carolyn and John Philip Law, right? And it was still a show. The show before that was a pure, I thought there was no girly stuff going on. By the third or fourth one I went to, or whatever it was I was
just
uncomfortable, and I felt
me too,
dirty going.
And as a guy that likes that sort of, like, I'm not a prude at all. But I was like,
walking around maybe did it for me.
I was like, dude, you're saying this in front of kids? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What year was the first Resin Heads?
It's got to be like 96, 97.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Rob's first Wonderfest was 97.
Yeah.
Because
I missed Harryhausen.
I think we talked. Yeah. How many guys did you bring down? You brought down Dan.
Dan, and who passed away. We really miss him. And Chris always came with me, I think.
I don't think Chris was with. The guy that I shared the room with.
Jeff.
Yeah,
the guy who told me I was going to die from toothpaste and stuff.
That and the guy that, like,
wait, was it in the toilet?
$1 off the tip table. Remember that? Oh my God, I thought you were going to kill him. And I was like so half asleep because Rob and I stayed up all night. And then I drove to Louisville.
I was trying to give a good tip, and it wasn't even a huge tip.
Yeah. And it's like this guy picks up $1 and says, that's too much.
What?
Rob's like, put it down. And I'm like, oh my God.
Laura was a waitress for years. I'm tipping these people good.
Yeah. So, but oh yeah, we had a lot of good times on that trip. Everyone falling asleep on the way home.
Oh yeah.
And we're in a traffic jam.
Yeah.
I said to Rob, hey, if I go back to that last exit, can we go around this? And he looks at the map and says, yeah, you can go around. So I had a Chevy Blazer, so I hit the Meridian and fucking do a U-turn. And these guys all wake up in the back seat, like start screaming, like, what's going on?
I remember that traffic jam. Is that the one where it was like backed up for like 6 hours? Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we got around it, but it was funny. We woke those guys up and scared the shit out of them. But,
so the first videos we made were Resin Heads, and we did Mike Parks and Larry, and who was my third person? There's three of them.
George?
What? No, it wasn't George. I don't think so. I'll find out later. Wayne.
Okay. Yeah.
Wayne the Dane.
So I was so happy to get Parks right away, because Parks, he was selling the shit that was affordable. I could buy a bunch of it. I could learn how to paint on it.
Sound like Scott. You two are made in heaven.
I know, but I actually built a lot of them.
That's the opposite.
I got his Homer Kong.
He got you with a shit.
Yeah.
I got the Homer Kong right here waiting to be prepped.
Stab me right in my incision. He stabs me.
But then in 2002 was the first time I shot video at Wonderfest.
Okay.
And I think some of my best shows, if I had to go back and say I really love these shows, the shows are the best, where I have, everybody's saying hi and everybody talking. All the dealers were talking their shit up. I love those shows. Nothing made me happier. And I only had a couple people that said, don't shoot my table or something like that.
Yeah.
And I back up and say, oh, don't shoot their table. Don't do that. But
the infamous Wonderfest After Hours.
Oh, I got that too. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
That was Dice Man just talking like a Jersey.
I have that on tape too, but the year before, I think.
No, but the one where everyone was busting my balls too about liking David Fisher and all that.
Right. Yeah. The 2002, I think that was.
Yeah.
So I found my tape, I think it's from 96. And I just found a way to, I'm going to be posting it on here. I'm going to break it down into all the interviews I did. It was for a video art class that I was doing. And I couldn't partake in the final project for my video art class, which was making some movie that was terrible anyway. And I'm like, well, I'm going to this convention on the weekend you guys are shooting. Can I just make a mini documentary and count that as my final project? It turned out terrible. I had no idea how to interview people or anything. But I just found, and going back, it's not that bad actually. And so there's some people on there that I didn't expect to like have on tape. So I'm going to get that up, but it's a good half hour is sitting in a hotel room with all these dudes sitting on hotel beds, listening to Dice Man crack on a video of David Fisher competing in Japan. It's a modeling contest. And it's just like, what the heck? And the bad thing about it, I was secretly recording. So it was up at Dice Man's neither regions. It's not a good angle. But anyway, I learned. So
hey,
your
Scott
first
was
video,
the
go ahead.
instigator of us doing the first model club kind of recording.
It was.
Well, he was pulling us all around that day. He really wanted it to happen.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think how I want to. I was nervous doing that. So do you want to tell everybody what happened if people didn't hear or see it?
Go ahead, Scott. You had a bunch of people that you had talked to and that you were kind of excited about doing a project.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what you wanted to do, but getting all the guys in the room was not easy for you.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
The second you got them there, you kind of came and grabbed Chris and I by the shirts and said, we got to do it. We got to do it right now. And we came up there with way too much equipment. We set mics in totally the wrong areas and cameras at weird, stupid locations, and ended up doing a voiceover of the stars of the stars talking about how to do good models for the Wonderfest contest. So a lot of the people who judged were in that room talking about what they were looking for, what they weren't looking for, what burned them, what didn't burn them, and what they really dug. So I thought that was probably the most informational show I ever got to produce. Usually it's just, here's a model, look at it.
And it was such on the fly, too, like you said.
It
was such on the fly. It was like,
but it's like we had all the writers for AFM at the time, like in that room, all teaching how to do it right. And that's kind of what you need.
I'd love to like have us get back together with some of those people and redo that with you and everyone else and be like, hey, and have you even host it and do that. We could do that for your show. And,
we can do it for yours.
Yeah.
We can do it for both. We can break it up. I could have an hour-long show so I get more runtime.
Do a part 1 and part 2 crossover.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about how YouTube works for people who don't know, how your channel works, how you go about posting things, how you monetize things, just YouTube in general. That sort of conversation that I don't think people realize the amount of garbage that's behind the scenes.
Right. So I can kind of give you a brief. I do 3 shows on YouTube. One of them's pretty new, and we don't have a lot of subscribers, but I do a Dungeon and Dragons show called Geeks RPG. And we have like 14,000 subscribers, and I monetize it. So monetizing it is allowing them to put ads on. So clicks get us a percentage of a penny, right? And after a month or 2 of people watching, I'll get a check for $100 or something. So for Monster Model Review, I never did. I never monetized it. I never wanted to until YouTube started putting ads on our stuff anyway. So if they're going to be ads on there anyway, we should be making at least something. You guys do a lot of work. Editing takes time. I don't sleep a lot. Neither do you probably. So
Scott does.
I sleep like a baby.
Right, because he doesn't edit, right? So you really need to, people listening need to share. They need to like. They need to watch it all the way through. They need to comment. They need to make it more of a community so we get the allotted run hours that we have to have. So it's unfortunate, but you have to have like 4,000 run hours to be able to monetize your channel. Well, I do 4 to 7 minutes. 7 minutes really long for my show. So you got to watch about 1,500 of those, right? Your shows at least are longer, so you can do that. But so you need people to like it. You need a certain amount of subscribers. I think it's 1,000.
It is 1,000.
Yep. So we get half of it covered, and that's even hard to do sometimes.
It is. Yes.
So that's why we say, please share. Please share it with other people that you think are like-minded. If there's a science fiction group and you go, hey, these guys are talking about science fiction, share that with them and say, hey, these cats are talking about Battlestar Galactica this week or something. But just getting us out there, getting us more viewers is going to help us monetize it. So YouTube's not the only people making money, that we're at least making something, right? And I'm not into it for the money, but if YouTube's going to make money off our souls, we should make a little bit off ourselves.
And that was my exact thought as well. When we started this show, I never cared about making a dime, nothing, until they changed that rule a little bit ago where they're going to start putting ads on everybody's stuff no matter what. I'm like, well, if they're going to make money, same thing. I want to. So, and I'm not sitting here begging for people. But it's not, I think that's just, it's fair. If they're going to make money,
just minimize this and let the video play all the way through.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, just turn down the volume, put your headphones down. No.
Don't click through it. Just let it play once all the way through and then go back and click through. That would be awesome.
Right.
Because I'm sure you're just watching my parts anyway.
That's probably true.
To Scott. I have a Scott skipper on my thing. So
Scott skipper.
It's like the channel. Oh, man.
But I did do a giveaway this month, just last week. And it was kind of just a call to action. And I ended up calling you to action to watch this show too. because I think these two are putting a lot of good effort into it, and they're promoting a hobby that we simply don't want to see go away. The only reason we are doing this is because we love the hobby. We're not getting rich. We're not getting to rub shoulders with the rich and famous, but the cool people we are. So that's kind of nice. But really, the only reason we're doing this is because we love the hobby and we want to keep building models, and we want models to keep coming out. So I did you can win a free sleeve stack by watch my video. We can post a picture of it.
Yeah, it'll be, if you go to our channel, it links directly to yours all the time, no matter what. Also in the description, we'll have it here for people to link directly over to that. Also, and again, I think the whole idea of community, we need to build that here on YouTube a little bit. And there's a few other guys, and I'll talk about them later in the show. But if you do know someone who's doing models on YouTube, send it to us. I'll link it. I'll put it on our channel so that more people find it. More people find us that way. And it's the best way for everybody. It's just, I think if we band together and start, I mean, you still got the Clubhouse, you still got Facebook, but again, some of that stuff's splintered. And if you kind of have these sort of little mini communities here where you can have those same discussions in the comments that you have in other places, it will help spread this to other people, because the miniature guys, again, I get on this every episode, they have no idea we exist. None. Like these monsters, they have no idea that there's these monster models out there. And if we could kind of tap into that, and if there's a great crossover potential there that I really think needs to happen, but that's just me. And you're an old miniature guy like I am, so it's
well,
good.
That's all we had for a while, right? There were no models.
Right, exactly.
So we did LEDs.
Hey Scott, did you know that Rob and I both are in love with Grandfather Nurgle? He's our Lord and Savior.
Right back here.
That's fucking great. That's great.
You find out about a lot of people.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
If you want to do the contest, it's a free giveaway, but it's to the end of April, and I'm making you watch my shows if you watch that. So
cool. Yes, please.
And again,
everybody.
It's really just for the hobby. I think it's one thing is kind of funny too, having done videos since the 90s on models. Whenever somebody else, Lonnie James or Jerry Lynn, or who was I thinking of? Fisher, I think, did it first, and Tom Gillian did it before us.
Yeah.
And those old cool videos, right? But who else was I thinking of?
It was Lonnie. He would wear the wrestling mask.
Yeah, Lonnie did the wrestling.
Lonnie was out of control, man. They were great.
Russ and Rich and those guys.
Yep, at Wonderfest doing the whole tapes.
Everybody
DVDs.
goes, I don't mean to step on your toes. I don't mean to step on your toes. I have absolutely no ego on this.
Yeah.
This is all about the love of the hobby. If you're going to make a show, I actually brought equipment and helped Russ and Rich. And I've bent over backwards for you guys, because as long as people are enjoying the hobby, it's a win-win, right?
For everybody. Yep.
Right.
And I wish they still made those Wonderfest documentaries every year.
I did too. They put a lot more time and effort in than I did, but I still really like mine, because I would do the snippet and then the dealer, and Sarah Karloff would say, "Hi, you're watching Monster Metal Review," and I go, "Fuck it, I got Sarah Karloff doing it." She's going, "What is this show?" And Vincent Price's daughter didn't want to do it. Right? She goes, "This doesn't sound right."
Oh man.
Yeah, it's really about the hobby, and honestly, if anybody has questions about wanting to do something like this, I'm game. Just email me.
And here you've got your small thing, show here.
Yeah.
And you had Nicotero on.
I did.
Nicotero on. And he was great.
And he's kind of buzzed. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Tony Cipriano did a full hour with me, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, telling you how he'd never do digital, and then 2 years later, that's about all he's doing.
His class is awesome. I'm going to give a shout out. I bought his class, his digital one. And I'm already fairly good with ZBrush by the time I bought it. I was already doing sleeve stacks and stuff. But the second I got his class, every single time I do a how to draw or how to do something always happens where I never do it right. So he's teaching you how to do a polar bear. I sculpted Mattie, my new model kit. So I use the same principles he's teaching, but I always make something else. Kind of like, here's how to draw a Scooby, circle, 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 and I draw a dire wolf. And it's just, I never do it the right way. But I learned what I needed to learn from Tony, that I was able to create that model kit that I published, that you guys were cool and showed off a couple months ago.
And we're going to show it again.
How's that doing, by the way? How's that doing?
And it's going to be in this beautiful diorama, and I'm going to send you some pictures, and you can be the first people to show it. I'm getting ready to show it. I made another diorama of my basement, and you've seen part of it because I put Frankenstein in it and other people in it. But that room was really made for Mattie. So when I got my kit from Todd at Escape Hatch Hobbies, if you're interested, it's a rat pink guy. But I made a little room as a corner of my basement specifically for Mattie to be building models in. So now he's got his own little diorama. Now that takes me to my newest piece, which is, so you all seen the piece I did for Amazing Figure Modelers, the Finkelstein's print shop, underground print shop. It was in the last print issue of Amazing Figure Modeler. And it's Pat Fink and a Da Vinci printing press and an underground print press. And it's my first real big diorama. And then this is my second one. My third one is going to be the game room. So I've got at least 4 Finks now ready to go. And I'm going to make it so it's vintage games and old games. I don't know what's going to be on the table, but I want to make it so it can change out.
Very cool.
You know, they can do Call of Cthulhu one week, and then they can do Space Hulk the next, right?
Nice.
Or Monopoly or whatever.
Mousetrap. Have fun with that.
Yeah, that'd be, I could 3D print that bad boy, I think.
That'd be funny.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Little Mousetrap game about this big,
3D printing is going to change this hobby for the good and the bad. I've already seen when I post stuff, people automatically ask for my STL, the file of it, and I'll never give it away. Because the second you hand them that file, it's gone.
So do you want to segue into that now?
Sure.
You want to go there? Let's do that.
That's how my brain works.
That is, you've been doing some really good stuff, great stuff with 3D printing and jumped right into it. And I've seen a lot of people push back on it. And I think it's a good thing. Like you just said, I think there's some bad things and some good things. So give us your opinion. How hard was it to get into? What's the best thing you like about it? The worst thing? Just the lowdown as a novice getting to where you are now, what printer you ended up buying, what software you're using.
Sure.
Just people, if they want to get into it, a quick, here's what you need.
So it's funny. I've become kind of that guy. I know with Tony Cipriano, when he was buying his printer, he said, okay, Rob, tell me what. And I told him exactly my pros and cons of what I got. He got a bigger one, the Saturn, right? But I told him everything. I spent like a day just writing emails back and forth. And I'm doing that with a couple other model people right now. But so I like sculpting with clay, but I never finish anything with clay because I'm just not a finisher. And clay has one thing that the computer doesn't have, and that's an undo button. So you can sculpt an ear for an hour and a half and then screw it up in less than a fraction of a second. And then you got to spend all that time to do it again. So that was really hard for me. I never really completed clay sculptures well. I did a Yithian model kit a long time ago, but a Yithian, any I think a monkey could sculpt really, given a plastic bag and some.
Hey, the Man of War.
Scott doesn't know what a Yithian is.
Oh no, but Scott's right. I actually sculpted a Man of War for Kurt way back in the early days.
Look at that.
So my first sculpt, I'll have to take a picture of it. Not very many people know it exists. But so I hopped on Blender. It's free. And they had just changed to Blender 2.8. Before that, it was a nightmare. I tried a couple different times and I'd watch the how-tos and it was a nightmare. And I would just end up throwing my hands in the air and saying, I just simply don't want to go that far. With 2.8, they made it so it loads up and you click sculpting or sculpt. And you're instantly pulling and pushing this ball around, this digital ball. And then the second you learn how to do, I think the very first day I made a Cyclops. The second day I made a little Frankenstein super deformed head. The third day I probably a slee stack because I love my slee stack. And through work and stuff, I was able to play with Zbrush. And Zbrush is like Blender, but made really just for sculpting, where Blender is made for animation and everything. ZBrush is really just sculpting. And luckily I was able to get a copy of that, a real copy, and of course, and watched a lot of tutorials.
I was going to ask that question, if it was a real copy or not.
I'm above the boards. I'm one of those crazy rule followers. I know.
Me too. I am the same way. I am.
If I'm using it, I'm paying for it. So luckily, Flipped Normals is the name of this couple of guys that are on YouTube. Taught me everything I needed to know.
Wait, repeat that again. What's their names?
Flip Normal, FLIPPEDNORMAL, right? But they make some of the best tutorials. They're slow. There's two of them. So you kind of got the color commentator as the other guy's telling you the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Go on a pace that's watchable and not those guys that go pow, 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 and you're just hitting pause because you can't find the buttons fast enough to do it. So, their beginning thing got me rolling. So I was pretty dangerous. I had already done like a full body sleeve stack, which is right there, up there, and some other things. And I'll take pictures and send them. But by the time I got Tony Cipriano's his course, it's like 24 episodes. He taught me some magic in there. First, he taught me how to set up all my tools in the right spot. So it's that old dog kind of thing. I don't mean to call Tony old. He's younger than I am, right? But he knows the tips and tricks that's going to help, right? He doesn't just sit there and say, okay, you're a newbie. This is what you're going to do. And he says, you're going to need all these. So put them here. And you're going to need to learn this thing. And once you do it, I remember I learned how to do a boolean. And that's kind of a take away. Kind of you take something and put it into it and take it away. Once I learned it, I wrote Tony and said, hey, I figured it out. He said, now do it 20 times right now before you forget. And I did, and I'll never forget how to do it. But because of that, I learned how to sculpt. And then, I was playing with filament printers. We have them at work in our library. I work at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. So the makerspace is one of my favorite places. And the two guys that run it, Dan and Brad, are rock solid and have taught me kind of all the basics in printing. So they got me on filament printers and would help me print my little T-Rexes and stuff. So of course, everything I sculpt is really exaggerated. So their ankles are like 2 millimeters wide. Horrible with filaments, right? But they would try. And so I just I knew I couldn't do it with a filament printer. It just wouldn't do it. Filament is great for like a Frankenstein light switch. Perfect. I got most of my house has Frankenstein light switches because filament 3D printers. And they're great. But I knew resin printing had to be the way to go. So I bought a cheap Mars Pro, the first one. It was like $250 when I bought it. I bought the water soluble resin, so I didn't have to work with as many chemicals. I'm already dealing with poison to begin with, right? So I didn't want to have to deal with a whole lot of poison. So I got the water washable stuff. And, the first week I broke the machine twice, but I learned it from the inside out. I knew exactly what needed to do. I knew how to change my FEP. I knew how to do, deal with the LED light if something happened to it. So I really learned my machine better. And the company has a really good warranty for the first month or two. So you break it, they just send you a new part and they tell you how to put it back in. So I took advantage of it. And that company, Mars Lagoon.
Lagoon. Okay.
They were the best customer support. Out of all of their stuff, whatever happened, their support made me a true believer. So that I got going. And once I got going, I've been 100% on all my prints since. There's a couple websites. If you're really going to get into it, you need to learn how to support your models. So when you print in 3D, and I have a little bit of video of this, you're going down into a liquid vat. It's taking a light picture, coming up, resetting, taking another light shot, and doing it and doing it and doing it. So it's got to be supported upside down, right? You can't have that overhang of a finger and not have something holding on to it. Just like in how you do a resin mold, you need to have those release caps, but you need to support your item on the base. So there's a couple videos. There's 3D Print Pro guy is really good, but you only watch the first 2 or 3 videos of supports and you'll figure it out. I use Chitubox that comes with the Saturn and the Mars software. Chitubox is Chitubox.
Okay.
And it's pretty simple. The hardest part for me is measuring everything. So everything I do, you got to
numbers.
Right. It's numbers, but you think that foot's going to be 12 millimeters and you're not counting that part of the ankle that juts out or the angle you have it at. So I always print everything like 4 or 5 times before I get the perfect one.
Gotcha.
But when you do it at a 0.01 to 4, and I don't go under 0.04 millimeters, there's no lines. It's smooth. It's smooth to be painted, and it takes paint really well. You don't even have to prime it if you don't want to. It just sucks it in right away. And that's really good.
Have you done anything where you cut and key? I mean, are you doing that too?
Yeah, Mattie's all keyed up. Mattie's got keys in his arms, in his legs. He's all keyed. And that's booleans. That's when I was talking booleans with Tony's stuff. That's that takeaway and addition. So you put a hole in there, but you make it a little bit bigger. and then the hole you make smaller and you make that part of the model. So yeah, and
Wow.
that's really it. I'm an old dog and I learned it, but I've been in the Adobe products for a long time, probably 25 years. I've been Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects. So I love computers and I've always loved computers. So stepping into that realm was just so easy for me. And I just love sculpting in it. I just do. You sculpt half of the face and the other half is there. You only have to sculpt one ear and the other ear is there. And then you take away that dynamic and start making it all real, but it's truly amazing. And I think anybody can do it. I think that you just got to really play with it and take the time to learn it. And it's one of those things like Premiere and After Effects. Once you learn it, use it. I did some sculpting and then I went off and did something else for 2 or 3 months because of COVID. I started building models and I had to watch all the videos again because I totally forgot how to do everything.
Yeah.
And now I went and tested myself last week because I've been doing a lot of models and I still got most of it. So
That's really inspiring to hear that you were able to pick it up like that. Tell me, what does Tony Cipriano's course cost? Like, is that for his videos?
I think
Do you
it's
remember?
normally $50, but I got it on sale and I think it might be on sale right now for $25.
Okay,
And
I'll
it's
find
also
that.
got a clay sculpting course too that I'm intimidated totally by. Totally. I want to do it, but the 3D stuff just makes me happy.
Okay, cool. That's reasonable,
So-
actually.
Where do you see this all going? So, like you said, you're not going to share it's STL file, right?
Right. Because once you share that file, you'll see it on Thingiverse. Thingiverse is this free place to pull
Free.
down.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to Thingiverse
Right.
checking it out.
And I do too. That's where my knife switches all came from. And I'm sure they stole it from some other poor guy that I
Right.
don't know. But, I'll see like real figures that I know cost a lot of money in the store. And I'll see them show up there. And I know somebody just took a 3D scanner and scanned that thing. It's no different than recasting.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, and this is the interesting thing. So Tony's done a bunch of cartoon stuff that I
Oh
want.
my God, tons. Every time he does it, I think of you. Every single time he shows.
Oh, that Popeye and the Jeep and the Aardvark.
Yeah,
Okay.
Calvin in the space.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And my thinking is, so what's the best way to go there? Because it's, do you just sell the STL file to someone and then let them produce it as a resin kit? Do you sell the STL file to someone and let them? But I'm just throwing options out here. Let them print them and sell them. Do you print them and sell them yourself? I mean, where do you see this? Like a guy like Tony going, or
Well,
he's got great stuff there that's sitting there doing nothing. It's making him nothing, and I'd like to see the guy make some money off of it,
And that's the thing. Do you sit there and print out 100 copies? Or do you give it to somebody? So I went to Todd. At Escape Hatch Hobbies and said, Todd, I got this kit. I'd like to make it a model kit, but I do not want to print more than 2 of these, one for me to build. I actually built 3. One I've got it here. One I sent to Phil because I needed somebody to do a really good job on it. So Phil Cup could do that.
You trust that guy? You trust
Phil?
him with it?
Ooh, when it comes to Finks, I think he's the best. So I love his work. And
he has a lot of fun with that stuff.
hey, we just put an episode up last night of him with doing all the micro.
I saw it. I watched it.
Yeah, I was watching some of it too.
I thought it turned out great. I'm starting to use more melodic music and not just creepy stuff all the time. I kind of thought that was kind of cool. But it's hard for me. I'm really good at walking away from it. So I wouldn't mind sending Todd my STL and saying, go nuts with it. I'm done with this, right? I got my kit. People have enjoyed it. I made a good episode out of it. I animated the instructions as a hint, if anybody needed a hint. That's for that contest thing. Instruction thing. But I'm really good at being done with stuff. Not like Bernie Wrightson, where he can't even tell you if he drew it because it was a while ago, and he goes, I disassociated myself with that artwork already. And I remember showing Bernie some comic books, and I was pretty positive it was his work, and it wasn't signed in DC. He goes, yeah, I think I did that. I think Mike might have edited or inked part of it, but I don't remember anymore.
I think he remembers doing the Howard the Duck button.
Right. Yeah, I still got mine. You better still have yours.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell
Those
yeah.
came straight from Gerber,
Yep. It was the Howard the Duck for President button, Jason.
Uh-huh.
and Wrightson drew the Howard the Duck, and he even signed it. It's signed on the button at Wrightson, and yeah, they were collector's items.
Yeah, there's a little piece of artwork that goes with it too.
Cool.
Mhm.
And now you got to go get that.
I did see, like, Scott, what you were just talking about on Patreon. If people who in this, again, don't know what Patreon is, you can subscribe to somebody for like $5 or $1 a month, and you can get their STL files to print, and you lose those rights once you aren't subscribed to them anymore. And there's different levels, I noticed. There's levels to print for your own. There's also some of those guys sell the rights as a level, so you're paying more for the rights to print them for other people. So there is that, Scott, what you had just mentioned, that you could print them for other people, but you pay more for the file in the first place, and it gives you that way. So, I mean, there's ways people are getting around it and doing it. But yeah, I don't want to see people scanning things and putting those in.
And if Tony didn't want to make it, he could just get a hold of somebody and say, hey, I want to make this into a kit. And he can print out the master and be done with it. But I think he's enjoying the printing process to some extent.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's been teasing, and like every time he does, I'm on there going, dude, I want one of these.
I know.
I want one of these. There's another guy out there, and he knows Tony, Jason Peltz.
Okay.
And Jason finally started printing some of his stuff. So I've got like Secret Squirrel. I don't know if you saw the episode of George Jetson with Astro on the treadmill.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's cool.
And Fred Flintstone he did. That was really good. That one he had cast and resin, the Fred. But yeah, so he sent me some 3D prints of, some of them. And, again, reasonable, same price maybe as a resin kit that size. And I don't mind paying that. I'm not looking for anything for nothing.
Right.
But I don't know that I want to pay thousands for an STL file that I'm going to use one time, and I don't know that I want to produce something,
No, but if you bought it for $1,000 and the artist was going to give it to you, and you have the rights to make a kit out of it.
Right. At that point, yes, sure.
Because you have to trust your artist not to give it to anybody else at that point.
Right. But I would just rather see him print it. I wish Cipriano, Tony, if you're listening. Yeah, like Tony's listening.
I'll let him know.
Fuck. Yeah. And then
like 10 minutes on him. He's got to watch.
And then that fucking Clay King Kong he's got going. I want that too. I don't care what he's going to charge for that thing on the Empire State Building.
It's awesome to watch him because he's just so talented.
Yeah. And he sculpts on that for like 3 days a year, and then he puts it away. And it's like
just to make you angry.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think he is. Tony's a good guy.
Johansson.
Tony's a good guy. And his Kong looks more like Kong than Cipriano or than Peter Jackson's. As long as I can throw that in, My daily dig at Peter Jackson.
Stop pissing me off on the Peter Jackson thing.
Just wait. Just wait till you watch the beginning of this episode when I rip into Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh no. It was fun. What are you talking about?
No. Don't start. No. Don't start.
No, we haven't even recorded that part yet. But I had to call him after I watched that and rave out for like 10 minutes.
I can sit there and watch Godzilla's Revenge over and over again. So anything they're going to give me, I'm going to enjoy. So I'm pretty easy.
Well, I did tell my wife that I would rather watch the original King Kong versus Godzilla than this one any day. So
I've seen Godzilla versus Kong 4 times so far, and I'll probably watch it this weekend again. God. We all have our thing.
I know. I think I'd rather watch that snooze fest Lord of the Rings that Jason likes.
Oh my God, I love Lord of the Rings. I just watched all 6 movies, like over winter. I think it was.
Hey, at least the Universal monster movies, when they got bad, were only like 80 minutes long.
I think I really have to pitch to be a co-host now.
I think we're gonna put something in his food.
Who's this Scott guy? I got a pillow I want to give him.
You're not the only one. Trust me, I've gotten other offers.
I'm gonna get a lot over this one. Trust me. But
oh man,
I don't care. Peter Jackson ice skating mix. Come on.
Okay. All right.
They could have left that out.
Okay.
They could have left the ice skating scene out of the Peter Jackson.
I agree.
And the first hour of the movie. Yeah.
I do start on the island.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. Okay. I do not like that one. I love Peter Jackson's films. King Kong, no. I do not love it all. Like, I'm with you.
So I want to go back to this 3D
and the
stuff
Hobbit.
now.
I'm not a big Hobbit guy either. But
the extended stuff was so much better.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. But still.
I watched all 6 in a row and it was fun.
I still love the Rankin and Bass Hobbit the most. Like that's like if they could have made 2 movies and kept it like tight, like that, like I would have been. That's what I wanted.
That's funny. My coworker said exactly the same thing.
And I love that Smog design. The fat, lazy, arrogant dragon, just not the kind of serpenty snake one we got. I love that. And that's the kid I want. Smog. I said this before. I want a fat Smog. Scott has no idea what we're talking about. So, anyway,
I read The Hobbit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never got through 20 pages of the rest of the books, but I did read The Hobbit. And I enjoyed The Hobbit. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
But, I read the Conan books too, and I don't know that I could get through those today. But I have read them all. The originals, not the spin-off stuff and all that.
I got into the Death Dealer series when they were doing those.
There were a few of them that I did, but I don't remember them. But yeah.
So you had another question about 3D printing?
So, I want to talk about scanning.
Yes.
So, scanning, are we still what you would call in the primitive stages of that?
It's a very expensive stage of it. So, our library bought one, and I'm just waiting for them to hook it up. I was going to go buy one, but the one they bought is way out of my league. So I decided just to hold still, wait till they have one, and then I'm bringing an Aurora Frankenstein down, and I'm going to scan it. Then I'm going to make a little teeny Aurora Frankenstein for one of my dioramas. It's my total goal to do. But what my real goal is I want to scan all the Auroras and make a music video out of it.
Wow. See, now I would like to scan, and this would be a personal project for me, the Aurora Superman, because to me that's still the best Superman model out there. But I would like to make it 1/6 scale. I'd like to blow it up.
And that's funny because we just had that conversation on one of our user groups. I have all 4 of them right there. Robin, Superboy. Oh, Superboy. Oh, he's right up there. But they're all out of weird scale. Everything's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody fits together. The only way you can make Batman and Robin fit is to put Robin like a foot behind him in a window in a lab while Batman's outside swinging away. Right?
And then the Marvel characters were all wonky.
They're wonky too. Even Aurora monsters, they're roughly close and then kind of not.
But yeah, if you could make the Bride, can you imagine making the Bride the same scale as the rest of them?
Yep. The Witch, my Terry Beatty Witch is a little big for the Aurora collection, but I still think that's one of the better ones.
So I'm looking forward to Mark Worthling's.
Oh, that Witch looked really good.
Yeah,
you got the spot on that.
And then I got that replacement head too. I did get that.
Mark talked me out of my extra kit, and then showed that like the next day. The second I sent it out, now to be honest, I got a really cool toy out of it. But the second I sent it out, I swear to God, he posted it like the next day saying, "Hey, if you have witch models, look at this awesome head." I have no more witch models. I just gave my last one away to Mark. But I didn't give it away. It was a really good trade. Good for him. And I'll get another witch and get one of his heads.
I'll tell you too, of all the polar lights and stuff that I have doubles and triples of, I have one witch. Because it was just never one of my favorites.
I can't tell you how many Dr. Jekylls I built in my lifetime.
Oh, God. Yeah, see, and that's another one that's just not one
Scott
of my
could tell you how many he's built.
It's not my favorite, but I created
one of that one. I can tell you that right now. I've only built that one once.
I got a regular one that's original from when I was a kid and repainted back in the 90s. And then I have my 2 fly kits that Chris and I came out with way back when we thought we were going to be model
producers. Yeah, I remember telling Chris, you're going to get tired of this really quick.
You did. You got tired of it. But I got two cool fly kits out of it. I'll send you pictures for sure. But yeah, the scanners are coming, but they're super expensive. So a good scanner costs probably around $4,000 to $7,000 yet.
Wow. So what's a good printer cost?
$250, and I'm making kits that I think are sellable, but they're small. My plate's only this big.
Right. So if you wanted to go 1/6 scale, you're either printing parts or you're chopping it or you're.
Yep. And for $500 you can get the Saturn when they're
and that's the one I've been looking at is the Saturn. I think that's the one I've settled on.
And I'll upgrade. I've sold enough Matties. That was my whole thing. If I sell enough of my kits, I'm going to get a bigger printer. But first I got to sculpt something because I hate this is one of my sicknesses, but I hate sculpting things other people make. I feel like I only want to print what I make.
Okay.
So I've got that kind of sickness where the only things I do at Thingiverse are truly light switches. That's it.
Mhm.
The rest of it, I try to make myself. I
Yeah.
try to make little lamps. I try to make everything.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it too, because my whole sculpting side of stuff that I do isn't kit related, it's my abstract stuff that I do. And I'd
Mhm.
love to try and do those in ZBrush and just print them out, because the way I was doing them out of like it's almost like a paper mache process using Durhams and some other stuff.
Uh-huh.
It is not. I tested a lot of my I've thrown everything out from my thesis show because it was too big. It broke the resin I used for it breaks down in the sun, so you can't keep it outside. It's very fragile, and I'm like, if I could just make them smaller and print them, it'd be a little better.
Paper mache was a really big thing this summer. I started, you have more time to watch videos. So I was watching Johnny. She does ultimatepapermache.com.
I need to go see this.
She's an older, she's maybe my age, but a teacher.
Okay.
Or it seemed like she was a teacher, but she just makes animal masks and stuff like that. And we take what we learn and move it into our monster stuff. So I did a cool Frankenstein. I took an old plastic skull from Target and added the Frankenstein aspect to it. I made a alien head from, I called the Alex Toth kind of Saturday morning cartoon alien dead head. I made that. And I really want to do a life-size paper mache monster outside this summer. That's
That'd
one of
be
my
cool.
goals.
That would be really cool. That's fun projects like that people just, I think, have fallen off to the side. Like parents don't want to bring out the bunch of flour and water with their kids to get in the. I remember doing that on balloons as a kid all the time.
You know, the thing I made this weekend, the thinking carbonite. All it is foam core and stuff I had laying around the house and half pearls from another project from my mom's scrapbooking stuff. I build most of my stuff from just scraps I find. I love I made a house that was on a cover of a local magazine this summer, and it's all cardboard and fantasy, and it was done in like a weekend with just cardboard and glue.
Really cool.
I love it.
Really cool. You touched on something I want to hit real quick. Local libraries. Mine does too. They have a 3D printer. They have it so if you're one of those people that want to just try, if you have the file, you can go to the library and print it out if your library has a printer or has a scanner. So don't feel like you're stuck having to buy your own. Use that local resource. I know if you have a really good library, they might have that stuff. And I think mine has a maker's room in it. So you can go do that stuff. And it sounds like yours does as well.
Yeah, our library at the university does, but our public one does too.
Yeah.
If you go to the kids museum, they probably have their own makers too. But you probably know somebody with one.
Yeah, at this point.
In the library, tell them what you're into and tell them, for the month of October, if you want a really cool monster display, I'm more than happy to dust my stuff off and make. I've had Aurora collections at both the Altoona and Eau Claire libraries, just because once they know you have something cool, they'll want to show it. I've actually had 5 art shows in town. I'm not an artist. I am kind of, I'm a crafter. I consider myself a crafter.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
I always
Jason in trouble again.
I always get in trouble over this, but he said it right.
Did I?
Yes.
Good. But I always offer. I don't hide my hobby. So I've gotten highbrow art shows that I brought Tim Bruckner, the sculptor, with, and Andrew Ritchie, my best buddy, who draws really crazy good. Steve Kurth, another one of my best buddies growing up. He's another comic artist, works for Marvel. But I'll bring them into my show and do these cool art shows with comic art on the wall, Tim Bruckner's beautiful pieces in the middle, and then my Aurora and Monster collection on a wall. And I just love it. It's like, we're just getting to show off some stuff,
Exactly. And that's
always talk about your hobby. Talk loud and proud,
And that's hard for me. It's God knows I can't talk. It's hard for me to talk. It's amazing
to me, Rob. When I look behind you, even now, when I first met you, you had one child, you had Hunter. And so, and then the other 2 came along, Emma and Ramsey. See, I do know the names.
You do. I'm so proud of you. I love you.
I know. I'm not sure of the order. I think Ramsey was the last one, right?
Yeah,
Emma,
you got it.
There you go. So, so when I first met Rob, and he owned a comic store and stuff, man, everything was a budget for Rob because, he just didn't have a lot of money. He had kids. He had,
You don't make a lot of money owning comic shops.
Yeah, he didn't have, I want to say a real job, but I'll get some comic owners mad at me. But, and so
I'm telling
you can
Lori.
kind of tell Rob's kids have kind of started to grow and leave the nest and stuff like that. When you look behind him and you see all this stuff that, he's spending some money finally. Okay.
A lot of it I've had all my life. So,
I remember you going to Wonderfest with $100.
I know. Now I try to go with at least 5.
Yeah. So it's like, but you always were happy. You always made do and you were always happy. And,
doing the show so people would send me kits. And then I realized not a lot of people were going to send me kits. So, the first 100 episodes are just me and Chris doing our collection.
Mm-hmm.
We finally started getting stuff from, John Diaz and stuff. People would start giving us some cool kits to play with and things. Mobius and Round 2 were really generous too in the beginning. They got me on the list right away, and I would do a lot of their stuff. That was cool.
Very cool. Future. Where do things go? Where are things going?
I'm so hyperactive and OCD. I can't even tell you. I finished the project this weekend, and whenever I finish a project, I get into this little depression on what am I going to work on? What's my next thing? I need something, right?
Yeah.
Or my brain's going to explode, or I start picking on my wife too much because I don't have anybody else to pick on. So I don't know. I might get back into sculpting. I need to finish that sleeve stack up. I got a bigger one that I want to part out and make multiple arms. One with their little crossbows. I already sculpted it. I just got to figure the sockets out. But I might wake up tomorrow and think, I definitely want to do a how I did the thinking carbonite a video, because I'm getting just tons of questions on it. So I think it'd be easy just to do it. And I have enough parts to do it except for the pink. And that's why I was thinking that.
Don't you have a big King Kong to paint?
I do have a big Kong. He's right up there. I did an episode on him though a long time ago. The Bride of Kong model really well, and really it should be part of the monster scenes with the T-Rex, because they are perfect scale with each other. But he's right there. Chris did such a beautiful job on the bust, which is right there, that I really gotta find out how he did that so I can paint that bad boy up.
That's funny. I
got thinking of it though.
Jason painted his finally. I think
I did paint mine. Yep.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on my site somewhere. Yeah.
And so mine is in a box in the closet in the garage. It's not even displayed.
He's complaining about you jerk.
I remember when when Scott handed me it, I was ready to, it was like having a baby.
Yeah.
But it's so light. It was like, whoa, this thing is a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. It's still, and I say it to every single human that I ever talk to when they say, what's the best King Kong kit? There is no doubt in my mind that kit you created is the best King Kong kit made.
I agree.
Yeah, I need to remold it and go through all that process, but when I'm done working, now that I guess I'm going to live.
You got to figure out the giant Galuna thing.
That's first. That's first.
That's their first.
I want in on that one for sure.
So I was hoping that Brokaw mold that, but now Brokaw's gone on hiatus again. So
you see, and that's kind of my problem. When you ask what the future is, it really just depends upon what trips my trigger and when it does. I'm hoping to keep the show going. But I'll run into a wall and then I'll need to build some stuff for a while, but we'll see. You never know what.
Rob, you're a good man. You're one of the good eggs in this hobby, and thank you for doing everything you've done all these years.
Oh, thank you guys for doing what you're doing.
No, it's nowhere near what you've done. But seriously,
people hate us.
Yeah, Thank you, sir, for everything. I don't know how to thank you enough. You do so much for this hobby, and again, good egg.
Having you guys as friends is enough for me.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
Well, the good thing with Rob is I'll go sometimes a year without talking to him.
And Rob's
and he'll finally answer his phone or pick up the phone and talk to me for like an hour with no problem. Like we just, wherever we left off.
I keep tabs on you, and I know your blood type too. So
you know my blood type, and
I got an extra kidney here.
Yeah, and
keeping it warm.
We're hoping we don't need it. You're
golden.
We're hoping we're good now, but when we get off camera, remind me to tell you the story, my good story that I'll tell at the beginning of this episode, but I'll tell you beforehand. Awesome. So but yeah, I'll echo what Jason said. Thank you for promoting us, and of course we'll promote you. And it's weird how it works. The lady that won the raffle, the last episode, turns out her fiance
Virginia,
does
yeah.
videos, so he ends up taking. So Mike Calvert was nice enough to send us a free kit. We give it away, even though Jason didn't want to. We gave it away because he liked it. And then it goes to her, and her fiance takes and does a review video on it.
Nice.
So, it was really cool that it turned out so good for Mike because he got the shout out here, and then he got the shout out on another whole video.
That's super
and
cool.
It was also cool to see the guy unbox it and just see the nice quality it was. It was
Awesome.
really a nice quality.
Over at the Figure Kit Garage. We'll talk about him.
See, we're all like a virus. We all
It
just
is. It's
spread,
spread.
and we just
Right,
spread
yeah,
out.
we're like the mutant
The human virus.
and who would have guessed? Hey, I'm back on the clubhouse, and
I got to get back. It's been a long time. I haven't been to the clubhouse in a long time.
I even I donated to their fundraiser on our behalf. Just
That's what made me think of it. I should do that too.
I
I want to thank you guys too for having me on. I know I got to be on that first kind of long stretch that you guys did for Wonderfest, which I thought was noble and really cool that you did it. And we were all tired and all wish-washy, but it was fun.
That was tired.
And, I just really appreciate everything you're doing, and keep it up.
Well, thank you, sir.
So,
You bet.
We will. And we're going to have you back once a year.
Cool.
Once
I'm
a
more than happy
season.
to
If we call them
chat
seasons,
with
I
you
don't know.
guys.
once
We
a
could go
season,
hours.
once a year,
Hours. We'll just talk about Jackson's King Kong for a
Yeah,
while.
for an hour.
an hour. Fuck. Talking about that, it's almost like watching it. It's too long.
Telling you, you're going to pop on here one day, and I'm going to have him sitting in this. He's going to be on the
you know what?
other screen.
Bring it.
All
Bring
right.
it.
All right.
Bring it. If Peter Jackson's watching us, I'll publicly apologize if he
Oh,
comes
man,
on the show.
I want him and Del Toro just to write me and say, "Hey, thanks for doing your show." That would be so great. Del Toro's art show is still one of my favorite shows I ever made.
Oh, I so wanted to come up there to
Yeah.
see that.
What a original 9 plates of Wrights and Frankenstein. R. Crumb and Jaeger and Twilight Zone original artwork, not Twilight Zone, Night Gallery original.
Yeah.
art.
Hmm.
It was a mind blow. I went twice, and Laura and I took pictures and made that video.
I'd like to see that Kirk Hammett one too.
That would be really good. I bought the book. I got his book.
The book's great. And what's crazy is the book's starting to go for bigger money now.
That's crazy.
And I think I bought it from, that Wonderfest dealer that always has the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I bought mine there, so I probably got it at a discounted price.
Well, 3 years ago, there was a cheap table of hardcovers. I bet you I bought like $150 worth of books and just walked away with a huge stack.
I
yeah.
always get something at that table.
I
every
love
year.
those books.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. All right. And we're back. Rob Mattison. What do you say, Scott?
Great guy.
Yeah.
Like one of the best guys I've ever met in the hobby. And just in general.
Yeah.
Just super nice guy. Wish I lived closer.
He doesn't, but you do.
No, he probably wishes he could move to another country to get away from me, but a super nice guy. And on a personal note, good family man, great dad. All his kids are grown now, but I've known Rob since they were all before some of them were even born. So
yeah.
Good time. Great guy. Never heard anybody say a bad word about him. So
no,
even me, even I haven't said a bad word about
which
him.
is hard. Yeah, you can say a lot of bad things. So I really like what he's doing. And I think part of this is we need to support the channel of everyone who's involved. So if you're like Rob and you have a channel for hobby, modeling, anything, send us along. We'll send links out. We'll do that. And start building the community here on YouTube a little bit between all the modelers, which brings us to our winner from last month's episode for the Phantom Kit, Virginia. She hit me up and said, "Hey, my fiance has a YouTube channel and it's the Figure Kit Garage, which I have watched before. And I was also subscribed to on my normal channel. And so if you want to see what the Phantom Kit was that we gave away to Virginia last week, he does an amazing review of that Phantom Kit. So please, links are below for the Figure Kit Garage on YouTube with, let me get everything, all details there, over there with Brent Krug. And it's
I'm sorry, with who?
Brent Krug.
Wow, where'd you get that information?
It was in the video in the first 11 seconds.
Yeah, first 11 seconds. Mm-hmm.
And I really want to say thank you to her for letting us know. And please, everyone, go subscribe over there. There's some great, he does really good
And
reviews.
what was awesome about that is, her Mike was kind enough to send us a kit to give away for a raffle. And we give the kit away, and Mike gets even more publicity out of it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks to Mike for that. And, I'm glad it worked out a little better than even he thought, I'm sure.
And I learned something in that review. He shows how the base goes together. And I thought it was like really well engineered. The base is that solid, that block, which I would have figured was a solid piece of resin, but it's four thin pieces that slot together, which I think is really cool and saves resin. But yeah, please check out the Figure Kit Garage, Brent Krug. If you go to our channel and down below, it says friends of the channel or something like that. It links to a bunch of other different friends of ours on YouTube. So please.
And if you'd like to be linked and aren't,
let
us know. We'll link you.
For sure. Absolutely. Okay, that brings us to emails and corrections. Scott, do we have any corrections? What did we screw up last time? I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's been so long. We got everything right. The only email I really have to talk about, other than I got a lot. Again, I want to say thank you to the people who emailed about Scott's health. Thank you. Martin sent me a bunch of emails with pictures, which we're gonna add at the end because we're gonna do a new thing, which we had talked about before, but then Paul Gill reminded you, and then you brought it to me, and we'll talk about that in a second. So our normal email from Phil. It's nice to know there are more of us that do different things. First of all, be careful what you confide in with your lady, especially after the consumption of alcohol. People tend to open up and share your innermost secrets. Having said that, Diane will probably kill me for telling you about one of her strange habits. But when we eat tacos, she always picks up her taco and has to rotate it. I don't even understand that.
Like, the guy that eats out of the garbage.
No, I don't understand what he means.
I think he means she takes it and she's got to turn it.
Turn it this way, or turn it 360 and eat it, or turn it and eat it sideways like a sandwich.
We'll see if we can get Diane on here to do a demonstration.
Yes, I would.
While she's talking to the divorce lawyer for Phil. Okay.
Send pictures of her eating a taco. That's what I need to see. And I mean tacos, like regular.
Or a diagram.
Yeah. Or yes, a diagram drawing would be great. The ghost at Scotty's house. Here's what I think. The marks on your arm, they were delayed reaction to you eating the donut out of the garbage. You did say the marks came from the inside. How much? He didn't say what he thought about. Oh, he didn't. I think it's a joke. He didn't put anything about the ghost. How much toothpaste was still in the tube? It was full. I already have I have a really old toaster. The power cord is wrapped in fabric, so I don't think a Pop-Tart would fit horizontally. This is the shortest email to you so far. I want to apologize for some listener for not talking about models. Thanks, Phil. And here's a great Phil of both of them, him and Diane. At the campfire. I want a campfire beer.
I'll just never forget first time I met Diane, and I was with Kurt and Phil, and Kurt and Phil were talking about models, and Diane just looks at me and says, "Are you one of them?" And I had to put my head down and go, yeah.
And she just walked away in disgust.
But she's a good sport. Diane's great.
So that brings us to the end. We're going to try and start doing these reader gallery things at the end. We had talked about it before, but we never got enough pictures. But we slowly started getting some pictures from people. So we're going to build these readers. We're going to build these viewer listener galleries at the end. So if you want to have a model kit shared in our little slideshow at the end, we're going to do those as we kind of fade out.
Or a bunch of model kits shared.
Or a bunch of model. Yep.
And all of Paul's that we're about to show are all still in production, I'm pretty sure, and available through him. Paul Gill on Facebook, Figure Model Kits, I think. And, Paul just, it's cool. Paul likes to paint still and do stuff. So, those are some of his hammer busts that we're going to show and go from there. And then one other quick thing.
Wait, I'm going to also hold on. I'm going to also show a bunch of kits from Martin, who sent me a bunch of pictures via email. He's been doing a lot with photography and light, with what he's doing in a Godzilla he built. So I'm going to put those in there as well. So thank you, Martin, for sending me those pictures, and we will get those in there too.
Yep. Listeners gallery. You don't have to be a professional. Might be just a kick to see your stuff at the end. So we're going to throw in some nice fade out music and man,
I gotta find some good music.
Put some kits up. Also, hopefully maybe for our next episode, we're going to talk a little more about Wonderfest. And what we would like is any dealers that are going. If you'd like to just send us photos, or if you'd like to come on here for like 5-10 minutes and talk to us about what you're going to be selling, and that kind of thing, we'd really like to promote that aspect of Wonderfest and get the people in here and get people kind of excited about going to the show if you are going to go, and give you a little preview maybe of what's coming. And again, if you're not comfortable coming on and want to just send us photos, we'll kind of do that as a gallery as well, maybe at the end. We haven't quite figured out what we're going to do, but we'd like to get some feedback and some.
I'd like to do just like a quick 10 minutes with each person. Like, here's what we're going to have. Come get it. Or if you want to make an announcement here so that people kind of get excited about coming to pick up stuff at Wonderfest, we'd love that too. So whatever you feel comfortable with, like with what Scott said, and we'll post on the boards and try and get some people to come on. So we can walk you through Zoom. We'll hook it up. We'll get you on there. I have some other people that emailed me about other episode stuff. I got some great pictures for the older model kit issues, or not, I'm sorry, for the old magazine issues. So people sent me a bunch of pictures of that. And I also got a bunch of pictures for the realism versus style episode that we want to do. So you can keep sending that stuff too if you got anything, and we're going to work on those episodes probably after the Wonderfest thing so that we can get, we want Wonderfest to be great. So promote as much as we can.
And CG Blade, I'm not dead yet.
Oh, the book.
The book.
You want to tell everybody what you did?
Well, our friend CG Blade, and he asked us for permission. He's in the middle of writing a new book, and apparently Jason and I are going to be characters. And I think characters is a loose word because from what I've seen so far, we are going to be characters. So,
but
we'll keep you informed on that. But that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll let you know when it comes out. Sky, got anything else?
I've got nothing else. Again, thanks everyone for the well wishes. We're on the road to recovery. As you can see, I sat through this mess for an hour and a half.
No, 2 hours. Actually.
And I'm ready for a nap.
Thank you, everybody. And he's choking on.
I want to thank Jason and Charlie Robson for deciding that the day I was in the hospital was a day to have a long fucking Facebook conversation that I was part of. And so my phone kept going, ding,
it was the
ding,
day
ding,
after. It was the day
ding,
after. 2 days
whatever.
After.
So
exaggerate, baby.
Thanks, guys. Appreciated that. You guys are top notch. So.
Can't
wait to have him on. So.
We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.